You're still watching Sunrise on Aneke TV. Let's see what's making front news today on The Nation, Punch, Vanguard, and Guardian newspapers. And today we have our guest, Mr. Uche Osai. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Deborah.
You're welcome.
And Miss Faith, thank you.
You're welcome. Now, to the news headline on The Nation. Amechi, how Fayemi and I began opposition coalition. Now over to the Punch headlines. We have the health sector persists despite 5.4 trillion naira World Bank loans. Now on the Vanguard headlines, we have the Ibom air fracas. Comfort begins life at Kirikiri. NBA waits in. Over to the Guardian headlines. We have the outrage over Ibom air incidents as IG order from one probe. On today's headline in the Guardian or in the trending stories about Comfort, who on Sunday was harassed, or should I say was forcefully moved out of the airline, Ibom airline, and news is saying, excuse me. Yeah, so about the story of Comfort, she was unruly harassed, and it's been alleged that she was banned from both local flights, international flights.
Yeah.
And in my honest opinion, I think that's like 100 steps ahead of what should be done. Just like Mr. Peter Obi came out and said that it shouldn't be a one-sided thing. Just the same way we're faulting her, we have to fault Ibom Air as well. Because are we sure of what exactly transpired, or are we just judging based on the videos that were seen online? Because I think I saw a post online on Gist Lovers blog where someone allegedly came out, using a voice note, and he said that he wants to talk about this thing, but he can't come out like in person to say anything about it. He was making reference to the young lady who came out to bash NYSC, and then she wasn't giving her NYSC certificate. Because of that, he's going to just record a voice note and then say what happened. And he said, he allegedly said that the air hostess, I'm sorry, I don't know if this word is okay to use, but that she's a witch. That's what he said. And he said that
Allegedly.
He allegedly said she's a witch. That's to say that he also mentioned that she's bitter. So how are we sure what happened? How are we sure what happened on air? What happened exactly? Yes. Like what provokes her?
At this point, we are restricted to what we saw.
Yes.
The videos that were released to the public is what we are restricted to. It's unfortunate that this fellow cannot come up publicly to really say of what transpired. You understand? So Harding would always allege, because we don't even know if the person that sent the voice notes is even a passenger or not. However, I commend Peter Obi's position on that, and I would hold the same line. In as much as Miss Comfort Emerson's behavior is unacceptable, and most likely pose a threat to safety, it must be pointed out that the Ibom air crew and the security management of the situation was very poor. So it needs to be pointed out, and pointed out vehemently. It could be anybody tomorrow. It could be you, it could be myself, it could be anybody. The handling was very poor. It calls to question the issue of safety. Irrespective of what happened, they should have managed the situation better.
Yes, of course.
They should have managed it better. Now again, the Ibom Air and the airline operators of Nigeria coming out to ban her for life, in my view, is very excessive.
Yes.
It's very excessive.
Of course it is.
And in this case, she being remanded in Krikri and all that as at that time. Do you understand? So who is charging her? From whose point
what
of view?
exactly are
Because
they
we've not
telling
really at this point gotten her view of what transpired. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And as far as I'm concerned, this lady's right, irrespective, remember that I pointed out the fact that whatever she has done, her behavior is unacceptable. Do you understand? Is unacceptable and poses a safety risk. Do you understand? However, we must point out that this lady's right has been breached.
Exactly.
So we need to balance that. However, though we have information filtering this morning that the Minister of Aviation and federal government are withdrawing criminal charges against the lady in question, which is highly commendable. But we must note the fact that in this nation, let there be the same rule for everyone. What applies to Mr. A should apply to Mr. B, because it calls to mind the issue of COM1. We are presently, the IG of police is ordering investigation into the issue of COM1, which we saw that happened on the tarmac. Everybody witnessed it. You're ordering investigation. COM1 has issued apology, yes. But you're ordering investigation. He is at home somewhere chilling. And then this young woman, a Nigerian as well, is sleeping in Krikri. Do you understand?
Yeah.
There has to be the same law that is applicable to everybody.
Everyone.
There should not be sacred cows or a different rule for the elite and different one for maybe people like us on the street.
Yes. So just the developing of the developing issue now said that the federal government has also reduced the ban on Kwam1. There's the no-fly ban on Kwam1. You know, initially it was given 6 months.
Yes.
No fly.
But the point, see, Ms. Deborah, the point here is this. They are coming out this morning to say that they've lifted the ban on her. They've gone to withdraw charges against. The issue is, see, when we talk about the rule of law in Nigeria should be called to account. In a nation where there is rule of law, there has to be systematic way of doing things.
Okay.
You committed similar offense. In my head, I'm beginning to want to place these issues side by side, which poses higher risk. As far as I'm concerned, if I'm the federal government, if I'm to take charge of the issue of Kwam case, I will charge him for attempting suicide. Do you understand? In as much as we don't commend the pilot for having lost her cool and going to, start off the engine, but as far as I'm concerned, what he did is an attempted suicide, because anything could have happened, and his action, like Miss Comfort Emerson's own, though I don't know what transpired inside the plane, put the life of both the stars of Value Jet Airlines and his own at risk as well. So we need to point out this thing.
Yes, exactly. And if you look at it, even if the ban over her was removed, what about her image?
That's another issue. That's another issue.
There was an unruly and unlawful act that was transpired.
That's why you remember when I was talking, I said her right has been breached. Do you understand? And now that the NBA is offering pro bono services, I think somebody may begin to look in that light. Are you hearing me? Somebody may begin to look in that light. Because tomorrow, with what we saw, there's no way we're going to unsee what we saw.
Yeah,
there's no way we can't unsee what we saw. Now, tomorrow, he may tell you that, sorry, maybe the husband, the fiancé, or the boyfriend has left her because of what was exposed to the public. Why did airline? Because I'm supposed to believe that the account we got is the airline's view of what happened. The videos we watch is from the airline's perspective. They must, like you pointed out, they must have released the things they want us to see.
Yes,
so why did they go to the extent of letting out that very video?
Because I had a lot of questions. I argued this thing for a really long time with a group of friends, right? And I said, it's not like I'm trying to support her or I'm trying to do women supporting women, not at all. But I kept on thinking, like, what really happened? So you come to meet me and you say, turn off your phone, and I say, oh, no problem, don't worry, I already put it on flight mode and I'm just scrolling through, pictures on my phone. And I think she's a content creator as well.
Okay.
I'm not sure, but I guess she is. and then she says, I'm just editing photos on my,
Okay.
and let's just say she refused or whatever the case, because from the voice note that I listened to over the weekend, or like that day it happened, right? He said that lady is too calm. Oh. He was saying if he was the one, he would react probably in a worse way compared to how
Really?
Miss Comfort reacted. And
Okay.
then he said that, okay, so another question again. I'm sorry, I'm moving from one place to another because there's a lot going on in my head. Okay, you wanted to hold her down, right? You wanted to reprimand her, no problem. Why didn't you contact your security to stand, in front of the airplane, so that on how people are coming down from the plane, you hold the person you want to
To hold
hold,
instead of
Important.
humiliating
instead of
her
humiliating
publicly
her and
in front of
standing.
other
And I
passengers
Exactly.
said
too.
that woman, that's the air hostess, even risked her life. So what if this girl is really harmful and she hurts you from behind out of anger and all that? What if that happened? What if she pushed you down and you sustained a life-threatening injury? She didn't even think of all that.
From what you're saying now, one should begin to, propose that the airlines begin to retrain their staff. Do you
100%.
understand? Because
Yes.
to my thinking, this whole issue would have not escalated
Not
to this
at
point
all. Exactly.
if the the purser or the staff was able to manage the situation differently.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand? We've not seen that part of the video of what really happened.
Happened. And
Do you understand?
how come no one in the flight brought out
Record.
their phone to
No,
record?
at this point,
They might
we're
have,
supposed
we
we're
never
supposed
can
that the
tell.
announcement has been made to switch off all electrical appliances. If that's the case, we don't expect to see videos from passengers. But however, wherever the video that we saw came out from, whoever released that should have a footage of what transpired
More things
before
now.
that period.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Exactly.
So I think at this point
And
in time, balancing the issue here is that we've called Miss Emerson out for her really behavior. Her action, yes, is unacceptable. Anyways,
100%.
100% unacceptable. Do you understand? And again, the management, the staff and the security management of the situation was very, very, very poor.
Very cool. That's true.
Do you
If
understand?
I'm being honest, I'd say as much as I'm trying to, be supportive and trying to reason it from different angles, I think Miss Comfort too should go through some sort of correctional processes. Because how
Yeah,
can
it
someone be
doesn't
that
have to
with
angry?
be.
no, okay, that angry. Okay, yes, that too. But I was even trying to think about going for
Like,
psychological
yeah,
get
something like
help,
that.
because
Yes,
emotional help based on what
emotional
has
help.
happened within
Yeah,
these few days.
yes.
Do you understand? Yes, coming to issue of anger management, it calls to question even our academic system. Do you understand? It's part of things that we all should learn. Anger management is a very serious issue.
Can save
How
you a lot
to
of
it can
stress.
save a lot of stress. Yes, it can. But again, I equally suggest that even after this whole situation, she should go for a psychological, emotional therapy or something to help her ease.
To help her
Yes,
forget what
yes,
has happened.
yes. And then you talking about women supporting women. I know that this whole scenario may be playing out in your head from the point of
When
being
you
a
say
woman.
women supporting women, the flight hostess is also a woman.
Anyways, maybe
Finally,
because of the things that we've seen. So
Yes.
women supporting women, it plays out in your head from the point of being a woman. But the point here is that the rule should be the same. What is applicable to A should be applicable to
to
B.
be, yeah.
Yes, I know that we respect the elites. Do you understand? But it should be the same rule for everybody. All of us are citizens of this country. Yeah,
Let it not be that the law is just meant for the poor alone,
exactly, exactly,
and why the elites they go scot free.
exactly.
Okay. Now moving over to the Vanguard or Punch newspaper, where it says there's a part that says Soludo supports Tinubu. So during the president's visit to Anambra to inaugurate projects completed by the governor, both of them announced their support for each other. Which is the governor in question, Soludo, where he says he's going to support Tinubu for the
Okay.
2027 election. So I don't know, why do you think he said something like that? Why do you think he mentioned
Any-
something like that?
Anyway, it's not unexpected. Do you understand? It's not unexpected for the governor of Anambra State, Soludo, to throw his support behind President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Before citing the father, he pointed out that they've been friends of 22 years. The trend in our political system now is that of endorsements, support. Almost every governor, every state is throwing up endorsements for the president. There's no longer, it's not about it's not about party or party affiliation any longer. Do you understand? You see the governors of PDP endorsing President Tinubu of the APC. However, I think it's within the rights of Professor Chukuma Soludo to support whoever or whichever candidate he so wishes. You understand? But in his case, he has pointed out that they've been friends for 22 years, citing that his conviction comes from his economic and structural reforms. That's why he's throwing his support behind the president. But Professor Chukuma Soludo is just an individual, the governor. So I don't know if he's speaking for the party and his state as well. But I take it to be that that's his personal view. And he is encouraging his supporters and followers to equally align. And then you see Professor Chukuma Soludo is preparing for a off-season election. Okay. Do you understand? So the trend now is that it's expected that everybody is aligning with the president. Do you understand? Yeah. Thinking that federal might may come to play in the election. So remember, our system is flawed in ways. Do you understand? So it's not surprising to see that he's throwing support for the president, hoping maybe perhaps, if not the federal might, that the federal government led by the APC would not interfere, because I'm supposed that APC equally have a candidate in the election. You understand? And you remember, Chukuma Soludo is of the opposition, ABGA. Yeah. Do you understand? So him endorsing the president is a way of saying, okay, yes, I'm supporting you. Don't interfere in our election. Even if you have to interfere, be neutral, let it be favorable. Do you understand? So in that election, APC is in there. And he too is campaigning. So he's doing everything to see that he gets that favorable re-election and disposition and support from the federal government. That's what is happening in our politics. You look at the case in what happened in Edo State as well. There is that obvious, the issue of the ruling party, how do I say now, the influence of the president and all that. So Chukuma Soludo, being a politician, must have taken cognizance of all that happenings. Yeah.
Thank you. All right, now over to the Nation newspaper. We have the Amechi Fayemi and I. Amechi, how Fayemi and I began opposition coalition.
Okay. Amechi, how Fayemi and I began opposition. I think this, given the trend of things in the country, for me, this story doesn't hold much meat for me. However, I think in this place, Amechi is trying to call to account how he is the initiator of the coalition. You know, going into the story proper, he will say that the conversation started with Fayemi in the house of one of their allies or friends, where they had a conversation, you understand, to kickstart the coalition to oppose the APC. You understand? Then from there, they started sourcing and looking for parties to choose as their this thing. They looked at AD, Alliance for Democracy, and Action Accord. They looked at Accord as well. Then at the end of the day, they end up settling for the ADC. And then it was where they agreed to go out and then, you know, prevail on other politicians to equally come on board, join them with the opposition. But at this point in time, Fayemi's media aides have come out to deny the situation. They've come out to deny that never happened. Fayemi, as we know, is still a member of the ruling APC. At this point, he has not moved to join the opposition. He's still in APC, and he has said that nothing of that nature really happened. So in this situation, there is denial and all that. That's not what we need. I think what we need at this point in time as a nation is that we should have a viable opposition, putting the ruling party in check. That's the most important thing at this point in time. It doesn't matter where the conversation started, who initiated it. What we need now is a viable opposition that will put the ruling party on their toes. Because as far as we are concerned, a lot of things are going wrong. The ruling party needs to be held to account for a lot of things. As far as I'm concerned, in as much as the ruling party, there are areas they are trying, but we need to really make them stand on their toes. For me, the issue of security is a lot of issue that should be put on the front burner. But nobody is talking about it because we don't have a viable opposition. In a nation where you have a viable opposition, what Amechi should be talking about now is the moves they are making, what they are saying, how they came together to, sorry to use the word, ginger the ruling party to be on their toes, to do something, to push them to do something for the nation. The other day, we saw in the news killings in Yelwata, in Benue State. They say Yelwata that the president went to Benue State because of that. It then means that the whole going to Benue State, nothing has come out of it.
Exactly.
And to my chagrin, there is a military presence in Yelwata, even police presence. And at the end of the day, these attackers were bold enough to come into the community to attack again. Then going forward, it was in the news yesterday that a local government in Katsina has gone into agreement with the Boko Haram to pay certain, should I say, allegiance to the Boko Haram, and then they've gone into some kind of agreement where they have to, maybe pay something monthly to the Boko Harams so that they will not attack their community.
So they actually know who the Boko Haram are.
Of course.
And then they're doing nothing about it.
Of course. So it means a failure of it. For me, first of all, before I say it's a failure of the government in place, it's a failure of opposition. I am supposed to wake up this morning to hear from the likes of Amechi, the likes of P2B, the likes of Atiku, the ADC, the opposition. I'm supposed to hear from them at this point to quote the ruling government to account about what is happening in a country that's not at war. A local government is in communication, in agreement with a terrorist group, and then we'll have a commander-in-chief, and nothing is being said about it. The security personnel, everybody's calm, and we're moving on as if nothing happens. I wonder how we'll go to bed at night.
Unsure of what will happen the next morning.
You don't know. Because the boldness, okay, look at the proximity from Yelwata to our station here, for instance. So if the person in Yelwata is not sleeping, how can we in this place move about freely? At the end of the day, if care is not taken, this thing spreads around the nation.
Very true.
So for me, as far as I'm concerned, that's what Amechi, P2B, Atiku, the likes of Tamboa, all of them, this is what they should concern themselves with. Yes. And not how they start talking about opposition and all that. Even as far as I'm concerned now, it's not about who fly the flag of the opposition. It's about giving us a very, very strong opposition party that would be very, very viable as an alternative to the ruling APC. That, at the same time, placing them on their toes. Yeah. That's what's obtainable anywhere in the world. Yes.
We're really hoping for the best, just like you rightly said. Who started off the coalition party, who would be the flag bearer of the party, all of those things don't exactly
matter at this point.
We want who would put the opposing party or the ruling party on their toes so that we can get the best actions right here in Nigeria.
Seriously.
All right, don't forget that you can grab physical copies at your favorite vendor or catch the e-papers online. And after the break, it's time to unwind a little. We'll be sharing some of today's most interesting global holidays and quickie celebrations. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
Sex is sacred, not shameful. In its truest form, it is more than the body. It is soul speaking to soul, fire woven with trust, vulnerability clothed in consent. But when misused, it breaks more than bodies, it fractures spirits. That is why it must be approached with reverence, not recklessness. Let us teach to love before lust, connection before conquest. For when sex is honored, it becomes not just pleasure, but poetry.
You're still watching Sunrise on Aneke TV, and this is our most favorite part of the show. On this segment, we let you know the celebrations around the world, and today marks World Organ Donation Day. On this day, 13th of August, the World Organ Donation Day is celebrated to raise awareness about the importance of organ donation. And it's a day not just about medicine, and surgeries, but about hope and about second chance and the kindness of strangers. Because behind every transplant, is a story of a life cut short, and another given new breath. I mean, just imagine that someone has an issue with kidney, and then you have to transplant one of your kidneys to that
To the
person.
person.
So you see, I'm sorry to say, I think this is really deep, but then you don't know what can happen tomorrow. So you're just making
Definitely,
a
it has
sacrifice.
to come from a place of deep love
Deep love.
first. Yes,
Yeah.
and
And
then
showing you that you
yes, a place
care.
of deep love, showing that you care, and then humanity too. We have situations where people that see that they're in a dire situation where they know that they have limited hours to live, and is already they now make that decision that when it's time, this should be given to
Yeah.
whoever that will need it.
I mean, that's
So it comes from a place of love, deep
Yeah.
sense of love
And
and
sacrifice.
sacrifice
and
to be able to do
sacrifice.
that. Yes,
I don't know if I can donate my
you never can tell
You
until
never can
until the
tell when
until
you
situation.
don't
then.
need anymore, you can
Yes,
donate one.
yes.
Okay, so we need to know this. The first person who performed the very first successful human to human heart transplant in the year 1967 was Dr. Christian Bernard. And the idea is pretty much simple. It was meant to save lives. It is meant to save lives. And also, an example again, Chuka, who was born with a heart condition. One of the reasons why this came to stay, someone who was born with a heart condition after years of waiting and uncertainty, and then one donor from nowhere just says, "Oh, I'm going to donate my heart to anybody who is in need of it," probably because the person has like an underlying health condition or whatever the case is, and then the person gives hope to this person
Person.
in the hospital. And in Nigeria and many parts of the world, the conversation around organ donation is still wrapped in fear. Like me, I'm still scared of that.
No.
But so it's still wrapped in fear, in myth, and in silence as well. But today is a reminder that our bodies can be our legacy. So thousands are waiting for a kidney, for a liver, for a heart, yet the number of donors remains heartbreakingly low. That's because, there's barely awareness of the good deed that you're doing for people, just the way we have blood
Transfusion.
transfusion. Yes, we have
Donation.
people who donate blood.
Blood.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the truth is, sometimes someone says, "Oh, I went to donate my blood in the hospital." I'm like, really?
You have a lot of blood to give. Oh.
So how do you know you have?
When did you arrive at the decision to go
You
the
get? How do you know you have enough blood? So what about if you just donate blood and then you slump? And then I'm schooled about it that, oh, there are
Yeah, it's true.
foods that you can eat
Tea
before and
and
after,
after.
Yes.
Yes.
and then you're saving lives, you're doing something for
Or they might
humanity.
test your blood level to know if
Yes.
it's
Yeah, definitely. They
if it's something
definitely.
you can give out.
Yes, definitely they will test you
Yes.
before that. But the point is, for you to arrive at a situation where you make that decision to make that sacrifice for humanity, to go walk into a hospital that you want to donate your blood. Let's start from blood first of all.
Yeah.
You understand? It comes from a deep place of, you know, love for humanity to be able to make that sacrifice. Then going forward, taking it up higher to the issue of donating an organ, you know, like you pointed out, there has to be serious awareness for people to know that yes, you can do this. You can donate one of your kidney, not necessarily when you have a beloved one who is in a dire
Yes.
situation and all that, for you to come forward. That one can be able to. Do you understand? But again, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I'm very conscious of my environment. Do you understand?
Yeah.
I'm very conscious of my environment, where I live. For today, I am in this country, Nigeria. And place yourself in my position where I go to donate one of my organs. What is the management for me afterwards? What
Oh my
happens?
God, that
Yes.
is
What am
very
I, how do I get guarantees that my situation will be well managed afterwards? What if the one I have begin to fail? Do you understand?
That's
So
very
yes, because okay, bring it together to the is it the Punch headline this morning
Yeah.
with the issue of the hospitals and all that.
Yes.
There are a lot of
There's
there's a lot of complaints that money that is being borrowed, for example, is not being utilized. Either they are being diverted for the wrong purposes. Doctors are complaining, medical association,
Nurses are going on
midwifery
strike.
going on strike. Even the doctors don't go on advancement courses that they need. Do you understand? It's been that there's no infrastructure and all that. Some hospitals are ill-equipped. There are no drugs and all that. And yes, I want to make that sacrifice, but I need guarantees that even the basic drugs that I will need after making such
sustain you.
to sustain me after making that donation
Yes, because
are available.
I believe
Yes.
there's a like for somebody donating a kidney now, there's a there's this type of food you need to start eating and the ones you should avoid and everything. Now, what
Yes.
if you don't even also have the
That
money
that
to
comes to the
fund
issue of the
that stuff?
education, awareness. People should be really informed. But like I pointed out, I'm very conscious of my environment. I think we should start from here. As soon as we inform people the need for love, for humanity and all that, we should set up the infrastructures to support such charity.
Sure. So this one goes to the government for sure. If the government can do better, the government can allocate a reasonable fund to our hospitals and make sure that our infrastructures in the hospitals especially are put into place. And what we could do to celebrate this day, we could start up a conversation just like we did right now. Talk to your family, talk to your friends, understand the facts, understand your environment. Also,
Yes,
just like Mr.
Miss Faith, start from the fact that those borrowed money from the World Bank shouldn't be diverted let's assume that it's not even diverted into private pockets. Let it not be diverted into other projects. Let it be used for the purpose of health,
Right.
the hospitals and all that. Yes.
Okay, so and maybe, just maybe, if we have everything put in place, you could actually choose to give life when yours is done. That sounds very serious.
Yes.
But then,
When you know that all is done,
Yeah.
no hope left.
you can say, oh, I'm a donor, batches on, I want to hug people, when I'm all gone.
When you get to
Candles.
heaven, you're able to tell God at least
I did
I
something
did
for
something
humanity.
for humanity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so because in a world where so much is uncertain, the gift of life is something that we could actually choose to give. So let's have that in mind on this World Organ Donation Day. Let's choose generosity, the kind that lasts beyond a lifetime. All right. And so that's it for what the world is celebrating today. And it's a wrap on today's edition of Sunrise on Aneke TV. Thank you for waking up with us. It's always a pleasure. I am Faith Wins Essie.
And I am Deborah Wakoba. Always remember, you're not here to be average, but instead, you should stay focused, be amazing, and thank you for staying with us today. See you next time tomorrow.
Hello, dear viewer. Many thanks to you for joining us on the program, The Arena, on Aneke Television. Today on the show, we are taking a look at a political matter. Political apathy amongst Nigerians, especially the young ones. Causes, root causes, and the way forward. These and more are what we'll be looking at on Aneke Television today on the program, The Arena. As you know, The Arena is a platform where we come to take on burning topical issues and matters ranging from different sectors. It could be political, it could be economic, it could be socio-cultural, it could be agriculture, it could be health, all on The Arena. But today we are launching on politics. So thanks for joining us. My name is Chris Aneke. And today we have joining us as our guest a principal lecturer as far as the Department of Public Administration in the Institute of Management and Technology, one of the foremost institutions we have in this part of the world here in Enugu is concerned, IMT Enugu. Dr. Emeka Nwanze is here with us in the studio. Doc, it's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, viewers.
And we appreciate you for always responding when we call on you, sir.
And I'm glad to be in the arena forum.
Thank you very much, sir. So, dear viewers, sit back as the program unfolds. It is no longer news that Nigerians exhibit this attitude of I don't care, lack of interest, lackadaisical attitude towards politics, especially when we talk about political participation. What could be the root causes? What could be the implications? Is it affecting our development? All these and more. We'll begin with Dr. Emeka Nwanze on this note. When we say political apathy, please, sir, could you help us give a brief explanation, meaning, to the term political apathy? What is it?
Apathy simply means I am not interested in things that I'm supposed to be interested. Apathy comes in different dimensions. It could be political apathy, it could be apathy socially, it could be emotional apathy. But today we are looking at political apathy.
So we equally have social apathy?
Yes.
Oh, beautiful.
There are some people that are social. They don't like coming out. They are introverts. They don't like mixing up. They are shy. And that is their nature. To them, they have different types of, the way God created us. Some are sanguine, some are melancholic. And this thing determines who becomes apathetic socially, apathetic emotionally, and apathetic politically.
All right, so the issue of lack of interest is actually apathy in itself. But then we understand that politics is the superstructure upon which the economy, upon which development of society rides on. All other sectors could be considered to be substructure, but politics is the superstructure. When the people become apathetic to political development, how healthy is that for their development?
There is root cause of political apathy.
Before we get to the root causes, how dangerous is apathy politically?
It's so dangerous. That's what you cannot mention how dangerous it is without first
looking at the roots. So let's come to the roots.
So now, you are a political scientist. That is what I know for sure. And as a political scientist, there is one theory in political science that calls frustration aggression theory. First, you become frustrated the way politics and all that thing. You say that politics is superstructure that controls the substructure. And in participating in the past, they have been devastated by, do I call it frustration? Because a hungry man is an angry man. One of the reasons why apathetic phenomenon becomes the order of the day, not just in the youth, but the majority of 90% of Nigerians. I've seen people in their discourse say, I will not vote again in this country. Some will say, I don't even know where I left my voter's card. But at the end of this discussion, we should know the various dimensions and the way we can participate in politics and the remedy to kind of extort us from the vestiges of apathy, because it has its consequences in the long run. Apathetic phenomenon could be caused by bad governance, corruption, unemployment, hardship, especially economic hardship, that the one we're experiencing today in Nigeria is biting, pains, and penuries. And these things, in a long way, cumulatively, can cause apathy in political system.
All right, so that's a whole long list there you've just outlined as what could lead to apathy, political apathy amongst the citizenry. But I don't know. When do you think we started experiencing political apathy amongst the citizenry? Because aside from 1960, when we attained our independence politically, before the coming of the white man, we had pre-colonial societies. In the East, rather in the Igbo land, there was Igbo pre-colonial, system. There was just to the egalitarian, cephalous,
Republican too.
Total participation by the people, a more democratic system then, unlike what we had in the North, wholly centralized, in the West, quasi-centralized. But in all of this, Dr. Wanze, what I'm trying to establish is the record in history shows that our people had always practiced politics before the white man came. So, but at what point do you think we were actively involved in political participation? And at what point do you think we started dropping down the precipice?
You have mentioned pre-colonial participation and political awareness. Then I want to start from post-independence disillusionment. Disillusionment is disappointment that has been orchestrated as a result of the way, the modus operandi under which politics has been played. Remember, before now, we have seen the vestiges of military dictatorships in quick successions after independence. And they always truncate a particular republic, a particular system, like you mentioned, as a result of one or two reasons. One of the reasons is that they will always say that politicians are corrupt. And they will always say that maybe one or two things, that the politics of Nigeria is played as a result of ethnocentrisms. That is ethno and ethnic politics. Now, there are certain things that makes the current dispensation of political apathy in a geometrical progression. One of the reasons is this. In those days you mentioned, I remember that I've never seen where they say there is a carrying of ballot boxes or pouring of acids or political violence. This political violence, as seen in current day politics, is one of the things that makes our youths to be politically apathetic. Sometimes our parents will tell their child or children or what, don't go and vote, so that they will not use you as a political talk to destabilize or truncate the activities of voting in a polling booth. These are the things. So when violence entered, our children and our youth started going, started becoming waxing cold. And the reason is that some politicians are callous. Instead of giving enough political education and enlightenment, because light and knowledge makes you to have an edge. When they tutor them to be politically aware, the advantages of participating in a politics where you call yourself a citizen, those people will not resort to political violence or thuggery. So because thuggery have killed a lot of people, I've seen in a polling station where people come and begin to shoot sporadically. And the parents will tell you, nah, mom, don't go this country, a joke. Then again, you see people, you stay under the sun, you make your vote, you line up, you stay there being hungry, you cast your votes, defend your vote, but at the end of the day, what is voted is not what is announced, it's not what is pronounced. Along the line, there will be a shift. That's what we call rigging, comes in. That is one of the things that makes people bad precedent, disillusionments. These are the things that are cumulative. That people will now say, on the vote, tata, or to na vote, is it what I have contributed? Is it what my vote? That my vote doesn't count in this country. And at the end of the day, when the results will be announced, The government of the day will tell you that if you are not comfortable with the announcement of the result, you can go to court. Then on going to court, I believe that we are running three organs of government. It's not just the politicians that represents the executive organ. We still have the judiciary and the legislature. And under checks and balances, the judiciary is supposed to become the hope of the common man. But in current day, according to precedents, you come to the court expecting justice over electoral pronouncement and result. The court will also disappoint you by pronouncing what the chief executive have asked them to do, because they are under their prerogative of decisions and mercy. Then the legislature, the current of what is happening in our legislative, both red carpet and green carpet, is something to be ashamed of. And when people look at these things, the legislator that's supposed to become a kind of organ, can I show you the beauty of democracy is legislature? Why? Legislature stands to control the executive in terms of budgetary allocations, like what that's the budget of a country comes to the sittings of Nigerian legislature under the joint session of the House of Representatives and the House of the Senate. They have every infantry and powers, the muscle and the capacity to say, Mr. President, this budget allocation is too meager. Or in this allocation, the ministries like education, agriculture are not, the money that is allocated to them is not enough. The money that is apportioned to security. But then, I am so disillusioned too that the legislature will look at those abnormalities coming from executive fiat and they will not say anything about it. Rather, they will begin to look on a way to a kind of, do I call it, try to sit upon their own legislative right by trying to connive with the executive powers. But that is not beauty of democracy. And these are the things when our youth look at it and they will begin to say, even the judiciary that are supposed to protect my interests as the hope of the common man is looking at me, and we are wallowing in abject disillusionment. These are the things. There is no way we can move ahead in our democratic dispensation where my right, fundamental human right as enshrined in the Constitution, which we discussed the other day, are not protected. And there are organs that protect this right. There are organs that pushes democracy to give it its beauty. The beauty of democracy, I say it again, lies on ability of legislature to control the executive, and also lies in the ability of the judiciary, if they are independent, to stand and to unleash justice without fear or favor. You will agree with me that most judicial decisions that we witness in the recent past is as a result of the expectations of the people, not through due process or rule of law. Just one phone call, do these things this way. The decisions is this. We already sit at home, say that this thing will end this way, and at the end of the day, it will end that way. These are the things, when you look at it, are the things that makes our Nigerian electorates and the youth to be highly disillusioned and to be highly apathetic when it comes to political matters.
Interesting indeed. I wouldn't know. I hope time will be friendly with us on the show today. So all of these things are the problem. Now there is lack of trust, especially amongst young Nigerians on the system, the political system. Violence you have listed, poverty you've talked about, lack of trust you've talked about. Dr. Wanze, I still ask again, at what point can we look at and say, this is actually when we went sliding down the precipice, looking at our journey so far? Yes, you made reference to post-independence. I could still remember that during the 1983 election, while former President Shehu Shagari was seeking for re-election, at the end of the election, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe and Obafemi Awolowo, who were the main contenders against him, had judged the election not to be free and fair. They called it a rigged election. So, but then at what point, and these were the founding fathers of our political history, the men who wrestled independence from the hands of the colonial masters, complaining that the system, the political system was corrupt to the point they called the election rigged election. So when can we say it was at this point we went sliding down the precipice?
We are in a country or in the part of the continent where rigging has become part of our political culture.
It has become.
Yes. Now, and this thing didn't start today. But I want to shock you. The truth is this. When in America, in the United States that gave us presidentialism as we borrowed from them, I've seen some contenders immediately after the election. The loser, he said, I am conceding defeat and I am congratulating the winner. They will put their calls, their phone and say, congratulations. But the political culture of African man and Nigerian per se, because Nigeria is an integral part of Africa, we lack that impetus and the culture to say congratulations to the winner. So political accusation of rigging election becomes part of that culture that we are talking about. But actually, in the days...
You're not saying elections are not rigged, right?
I'm saying it's rigged. But I'm saying also the part of the culture we have as in this part of the world, Africans and in Nigeria, is that even when this election are done free and fair, I will give you instances of free and fair election that I've seen in these countries and elections that have been rigged, and it was obvious that it had been rigged. Now, but contending and as an accusation that this election was rigged has become part of our political culture. That is why we find it difficult to say to the winner, the loser, congratulations, you have won.
Good luck, Jonathan.
Okay, now listen.
Good luck, Jonathan.
That's what I want to. I want to say, in fact, in
ahead.
2015, good luck, Jonathan, because of the nature of his political understanding and culture. Many people have different political culture, and your political culture determines how you participate in politics. So the good luck, Jonathan, saw that the then president, may his soul rest in peace, who is being laid to rest today or has been laid to rest today, defeated him in the election of 2015. Before the election could be finished, he picked a call and said congratulations. And that is what solved a lot of political brouhaha. That is what solved a lot of political manipulations and other things. And Nigeria started afresh from another dispensation. But also, there is elections that we have had in the past where even the winners have won. They are not pronounced. The election is still cancelled and annulled. In 1993 general election, the one that MK Abiola won in 16 states out of 30 states, because then Nigeria was running a 30 states federation. And the then president, Ibrahim Babangida, annulled the June 12th election. Something that is fresh in my mind, because at that level, that June 12th is always my birthday. I was celebrating my birthday. That was on Saturday, June 12th. All of us, we casted our votes, and at the end of the day, Babangida being the commander-in-chief in the days of military dictatorship, cancelled the election. And I believe that is one of the most furious and fairest elections that Professor Humphrey Nwosu, of the blessed memory, may his soul rest in peace, has conducted. And when honors are being given to the people that did...
The principal players.
His name was swept to the carpet. And his son even was asking the role that my father played and his risk that he took and other things. He did marvelously well in that election by making sure that there was free and fair election.
Even though we know the other day, the current president, he gave him
the latest election, I will not be fair to myself if I don't discuss 2023 general election.
Go ahead.
Now, it is obvious. I voted, and I know that many people voted, and I saw what happened in the polling stations, that people voted their heart. And when electoral result was being pronounced, I quoted Dino Malaya. That was the electoral result that Dino Malaya was following. That the electoral result, those people that wanted to rig made an even mistake in trying to fix the date. And that there are certain things that happened in 2023 election. The beavers, all this electronic scenarios that was set in place to make sure that there was free and fair election, and that the votes that our votes counted. Would Nigerians spend money in billions? At the end of the day, they say that those things, electronic devices, failed, and we resolved to manual counting of votes. And before you know it, the Aneke will tell you that if you are not happy, you go to court. People that are being called that they have won tell you if you are not happy, go to court. You still come to court. At the same time, the courts, the judiciary, will do one or two things. At the end of the day, when you hear the electoral result, you will be marveled. And let me tell you that if these things begin to run in quick succession, I'll tell you that our democracy will go back to square one. And it is high time we've, in this forum, say that in the next coming election, there has been a gimmicks, there has been a kind of alliances, coalitions of political parties coming up, trying to see if they can correct the abnormalities. And at the same time, I want to equally mention, as they're trying to come up with the solution, that the INEC should also try to become independent.
We'll come to that. We'll come to that. We'll be looking at what we need to do to right in the wrongs. But then signals are coming that we actually need to go on a very quick short break. And when we return, the conversation continues. Dear viewer, yes, we are having a chat with Dr. Aneke Nwanze today, and we're looking at political apathy amongst Nigerians, especially the young ones. Which way forward? Stay with us. Don't go away. The arena shall return. Welcome to Aneke TV, the heartbeat of culture, truth, and innovation. From breaking news to inspiring documentaries, from grassroots traditions, mysteries of life to global perspectives, we'll tell your stories. We amplify your voice and your vision. With every screen we light up, we connect, inform, and empower. It's more than a television. This is Aneke TV. We move with the world. Okay, viewer, you're welcome back to the program, The Arena, on Aneke Television. Just as I told you before we went to that break, that Dr. Aneke Nwanze is here with us in the studios, talking to us about political apathy amongst Nigerians, especially the young ones. We'll return to you now, Doc. Yes, we've looked at the history, the background. We've looked at our journey so far. We've also looked at the root causes of political apathy. But now, I want us to launch on the implications of political apathy amongst the citizen. Is it taking us anywhere forward, or is it detrimental? When we say people are politically apathetic, lack of interest in the political process, the people are not interested, what does it leave us with?
There's so many implications of being apathetic in a policy, in a political dispensation. One, I would want to say that there is this adage since I was youth today, they are leaders of tomorrow. But before I mention some of the implications, I want the leaders today to also give the youth the platform to become leaders tomorrow. Now, the implication is this. I was in a forum on Sunday at event in Grace Event Center. I happened to be my church. I gave them a talk on political awareness and political participation. Let me link it to this evening discussion. If you are not politically aware and if you don't participate, you will become the product of, in the hands of those who participate. Sometimes they say that politics is a dirty game. That's one of the things that makes people not to participate. And you become where you are. If you think that politics is a dirty game, come and make it a clean game. Because if they want to allocate values, remember, like I said, the definitions of politics is one. David Easton says authoritative allocation of scarce resources. It is interplayers of actors in which each actor wants to gain a comparative advantage over the other. Then Harold Laswell said it is he who gets what, when and how. Let me stand from authoritative allocation of scarce resources. In every dimension, in every dispensation, scarce resources are always scarce. If you don't participate, you become a tool of those in the hands of those who participate. Whether they are doing it well or they are not doing it well, they stand the right either to give to you or not to give to you in terms of allocation of values. Now, I said it and I want to repeat it in this forum. Politics is not just participating to become a governor or a president or even a local government chairman. But if you participate in politics, there are certain things you could benefit. One, if you may have a moral standard and they will know you for becoming very good and upright. And the local government chairman is looking for treasurer. And he said, I want to make you the treasurer of my local government because you are an upright, because of your integrity, because of your accountability, because of your probity, because of what you stand. By that time, you are not, per se, a political office holder as a local government chairman. You have not even run an electoral position, but you have gotten an appointment. The governor of a state may say, hey, Professor Eze, you are a nice man. I know you very well. You represent a brand for integrity. Come and become the vice chancellor of this school. Come and become the rector of this school. With that, because you have participated in one way by voting, by even calling and saying, hello, congratulations, is part of political participation. Participation is not just going to vote. It's not only having voters card. It's not only electioneering campaign. You can, at the same time, look at what the governor of the state is doing now. We know we are running e-governance.
The governor of the state in Enugu State.
Yes, you can say, congratulations, you have done very well. You can equally report and say, hey, where I live at Ologo, the contractor you gave to that job is not doing anything good. Though. And we have reported. That was why the governor changed the contractor that was in Ologo Road, who did it for 2 months, and he did not do anything. Now they changed and gave it another contract. Within 1 week, you see the work in action. Because we saw something and we say something. Because we participated in one. That's why we say there are some people that participate gladiatorial political participation. Then we have parochial. For parochial, their own is not as quick as the gladiator. But the gladiators determines who gets what, according to Harold's last word.
When and how.
Now, if you are not part of who gets what, when and how, when the allocations of values will be allocated, your name will be eluded. And you will be crying from morning to night, from January to December, that this government, they don't remember me. How would they remember somebody they have not seen? Now, let me give you instances. In the days of Sullivan, the governor of Enugu State then, I participated in politics. After my MSc, I was disillusioned and I was embattered. Having married with kids, I didn't have much resources to feed my family, so I decided to enter politics. How? When I entered political mandate for Sullivan, it was like a pressure group that was supporting his governance. I became a bus driver. I want to say so that the viewers will hear my testimony and also come out from their hiding places or their cocoon where they are saying, I won't participate. If you don't participate, those that participate will control you. Then they gave me, in the 17 local government, there is always bus allocated to each local government. I was driving that of the local government where I hail from. Now, having been in charge of the bus as a driver, he didn't touch my certificate, he didn't touch my knowledge. But somehow, the rector of IMT then, late Professor Aneke, saw me and said, young man, the way you talk, the way you carry yourself shows that you have been to the 4 walls of the institution. I said, yes, I am a political scientist. And he said, what level? I said, MSc level. That was how he brought me in. I didn't mean that I did not participate by being a driver. I don't know what my fate will be today because I know that unemployment is one of the reasons why our children and our youth are not participating. Because their stomach infrastructure have not been harnessed. But there is a way you want to feed a child. If he places himself in position to receive the food, then the feeding will be going on very, very well. But there's a way you want to give him the spoon of maybe his pap or rice, and he doesn't position his mouth very well. The feeding will become very hard. That is the way I want to talk to Nigerian youth and Nigerians that are under my voice, that we shouldn't be playing our politics behind closed doors or at the backyard. We should come out. We should make a decision. We should pass accolades. No particular leader is do I call it complete or perfect. There is always perfection in imperfection, and it is a two-way traffic. Where they are not getting it right, you can chip in. Thank God that we are in the era of social media, where even if your voice is not heard, your write-up can be heard. You can type a message and say, Governor Pitamba, congratulations on your infrastructural development. You can equally type a message and say, Tinubu, continue in what you are doing in Nigeria. You can equally type a message and say, but the other aspect of taxation somehow is becoming unbearable to the Nigerian citizens. Remember, Albert Camus says that the essence of governance is to provide for the people what the people cannot provide for themselves. And
right.
if you go on infrastructure development without stomach infrastructure, there is a question mark in governance.
All right, still on the implications of political apathy. When Jonathan in 2015 conceded to defeat, through that single phone call to the late President Muhammadu Buhari and said, congratulations, Your Excellency, that actually seemed to have changed a whole lot of narratives. Because you know the mentality here in Africa, sit tight syndrome. I will not relinquish power to another person. But for Jonathan to have told that path, a lot of political watchers and observers were of the opinion that our political culture seemed to have changed and the people's perception towards politics changed. And maybe perhaps that was what actually increased the interest amongst young people during the 2023 election, when people went all out there to get their voters card, their PVC, got ready, launched on the polling units, and turnout was encouraging. But I don't know if perhaps the turnout during the announcement of results had actually caused any problem. Do you think it has?
The turnout
The 2023 election. The turnout was massive, especially among young Nigerians. But do you think the outcome of the election has increased, or has it affected
It depends.
political participation?
Let me use my constituency in Enugu State
Go ahead.
as a case. After the 2023 general election, the youths barricaded some of these INEC routes, waiting for electoral result to be announced. And the essence of barricading the route where INEC will go in to announce the result and come out is sends a signal. And that signal is a participatory signal and a dangerous signal, in the sense that the INEC officials knew that if they have done something as usual, business as usual, that the youths are going to go on rampage. It happened in Abia State, where the youths stood by the side of the female, do I call it INEC,
Resident Electoral Commission.
It happened in Enugu State. For 3 days, the result was not announced, and the youths were waiting. You could bear with me. They started cooking on the mirrors of Opera Square, and somebody was sponsoring that cook. They even slaughtered cow, waiting for the result, because they know that they have voted, and they are expecting their vote to be counted. And when the result was announced, everybody became calm. Had it been that the opposite of the result of Enugu State was announced, everybody, me, I was even getting ready to go to the village to stay because of the mayhem which it would have caused. But I thank God that it is what we casted that was announced. And the youth stood by it. Now, the other place in the
Let's go national.
National, that's in the national terrain. Labour Party, I can stand to tell you, and I stand to be contradicted, that if I've won an election in Lagos State, in Kano, and maybe in the Federal Capital Territory, you are good to go. The Labour Party won in this place that I've mentioned. And before you could know it, a lot of manipulation elsewhere. And the electoral result was announced. And people, like, instead of jubilating like in Enugu State, they were mourning. And I could tell you that I witnessed something that happened that morning. The cloud was also melancholic. The moment they announced the electoral result, the cloud became beclouded and melancholic. It had never happened in my life before. As if in March, it seems as if it's going to rain from morning till like in the dawn, in the dusk. And I said, well, I don't know, but I know that something, people's, do I call it franchise, has been upturned. And that is the reason why Nigerians are becoming the solution. That is where mistrust comes in against trust. That is where people are saying in 2027, there is no need going to cast the election. The election were casted and we knew who voted. At the end of the day, the person who voted even became third person in
And
the
now,
electoral result.
Dr. Wanze,
And that is it.
towing that path now is taking us back to the implications. Towing that path, is it not a dangerous path to tow for people to say, okay, no need, participating? Is that not going to be a dangerous
very, very dangerous. I said, let me tell you this. I want to tell Nigerians, especially of the youth's extraction, to be politically aware more than ever before. Let me say this now that I have the privilege to say it. You cannot stand and say the election was rigged when you did not exercise your franchise. You don't have any moral right to stand and say that the election that you did not vote was rigged. I say it again. Nobody has right to say that this election, whether 2023 or the coming 2027 election, if you didn't vote, you automatically disqualify to talk about the electoral result, because it is someone that voted that can say that my vote did not count, not someone who did not vote. And I want to tell us that if we increase our political apathy to political participation in coming 2027 election, it is going to go a long way to produce what I call ethical leaders.
Ethical leaders. Thank you very much. I don't know, especially to the youth of the southeastern extraction. During the election days, we'll see young people take to the fields.
I want to tell you something about youth of southern eastern extraction. There is an agitation before now over self-determination led by our dear Nnamdi Kanu. Self-determination, that is secessionist agitation, which is not bad anyway.
Overcry of
Yes, because we have said it time and time again, that this part of the country it seems as if we are being treated as third-class citizens, not even second-class citizens. That certain level of equilibrium, which we have not attained, we are agitating for it. Now, the use of southeastern extraction of Nigeria are also the solution. Some of them I have interviewed and they tell that they are not Nigerians, that they are Biafrans, and they are looking for sovereign state of Biafra. Whenever it comes, that is where their loyalty comes. And this goes a long way to affect their political participation. But I want to use this forum to say this, that in a country we see ourselves as a Nigerian, we should participate for the sovereign state of this country. Then if peradventure, through political gimmicks and political participation, because there is a current agitation to create one more state to drive for equilibrium or equity, then if in a way, Biafran emerges, or Yoruba nation emerges, or Arewa people emerges, then we will not be loyal to one particular sovereign nation. But we cannot be loyal to country A and country B and expect our demands to be met there. Let me tell you, I have been in the village where I chase rabbits. If two rabbits comes out from one mouth, you chase this one, you lose the two. And that is why I am so comfortable with the national anthem which they changed. I'm so comfortable with Arise, O Compatriots, and the national pledge. Loyalty. You must be loyal to the state. It is even biblical. How? In Romans chapter 13 verse 1, it says, obey those in authority. Because there is no authority except that which God knows. And if you are going contrary to those who are in authority, then you are going contrary to the establishment that has been made by God. I am so conscious about that. And the same Bible says we should pray for those in authority. So rather than becoming apathetic, we should continue to pray. Some people will say prayers does not work. I believe of the fact that prayers works. But our timetable is not the same thing with God's timetable.
All right, so we've known the root causes of political apathy. We've actually looked at the implications of being apathetic to politics. Now, Dr. Wanze, what do you expect to happen? From now moving forward, you've complained of the judiciary not living up to expectation. You've complained of the system not working. Now you've equally posited that we have three arms of government that are supposed to be piloting the affairs of governance. And it seems the people are no longer having their trust on these arms of government. Constitutional review is ongoing right now. People are clamoring for judicial reforms. Some other persons are equally asking for electoral reforms, especially around INEC, because even with the coalition ongoing right now, at the end of the day, INEC will give us the results of whatever election. What do we need to do going forward from now so that we could start to
Let me
get it
start with
right?
judiciary. I am proposing for a better management case system and independent of judiciary. If we have independent of judiciary that is devoid of control from the executive organ, the judiciary will become a better judiciary starting from today. Then when it comes to things that are not working, there are youths out there that are battered and disillusioned. Create jobs for these youths. You know, P2B was saying something about consumption society and creating wealth. Our GDP will not increase, our gross domestic product will not increase, except when we go into production. And when we go into production, then the economy will be better. When we go into production, the measure of central tendency and global tendency in terms of naira, dollar, rising and falling will be a thing of the past. When we go into production, people, it's not about big teen population. We're expecting to import from population of 50 million, but we are more than 200 million in Nigeria. That means that we should create capacity. That I'm looking at the government to creating a capacity for us to go into production. When we go into production, our youths, Nigerians will be busy. Remember, an idle man is a devil's workshop. And an idle man will always murmur. An idle man will always not see anything good, even when things are working out well. Then, it's part of it. Then, other solutions. You want to create employment, you harness security. I've said over the media forum that everything rises and falls on security. John Maxwell says it falls and rises on leadership. Me, I'm equally saying, because if there is no security, you've invited me to come to this place, and I know there is no security in Edinburgh, I won't come here. And you will not leave your house. If you know that you are not going home to meet your family that told you bye-bye, will not tell you welcome. Chris, you won't be here. They should beef in our security. Because part of the things that we're talking about is that people sometimes are killed during the electoral campaign. Some are killed right in the polling booth. Some are killed while, you know what happened in Enugu State now? Somebody, a political aspirant, senatorial, was shot and was set ablaze.
A candidate.
A candidate. Senatorial candidate. Another thing, such things should be a thing of the past. It's not a do or die affair. That was why I love Goodluck Jonathan's presidential call. Congratulations. That thing saved a lot of situations. And we didn't even say much that he said. He said that the Nigeria, my position here, does not want the life of any Nigerian. That the life of any, he doesn't want to lose a soul. If it is accepting what it is, accepting defeat. And now, congratulations, now carry go. Provided now nobody dies as a result of this particular electoral result. That is the political culture that I want Nigerian politicians to imbibe. It should be a political culture of sportsmanship. That's what they call spirit of sportsmanship. Last 2 days, I watched PSG and Chelsea. Even when the ball ended 90 minutes, I saw the defeated counterpart, PSG players, shaking the Chelsea players and exchanging their jersey. That is how politics is supposed to be run in Nigeria. To me, nobody should think of taking one's life because of power. These things are parochial. These things are immaterial. It's not supposed to be mentioned at all. I still wonder why people want to take someone's life because of power, which is ephemeral. Look at it. We should learn by mistakes. We should also learn from good governance. We should also learn from what is happening concurrently. I was telling my friend, look at, I posted something in my platform in Facebook. I said, look, Nigerian politicians should learn from today. What happened today in Nigeria is a history. And there is a history that repeated 1960, July 15. You can go and Google it. Today is historical in Nigerian history. 1966, July 15. Go and Google it. Maybe when we come, it should be a discussion for another day. So history has a way of repeating.
But if you don't mind, could you just tell us what happened? This is a forum for enlightenment.
Someone was ousted from governance.
July
15th, 1966.
Thank you very much. Let's draw the curtain on the show. At this juncture, I must beg you, Dr. Aneke Nwanze, you've been very resourceful on the show. It's going to be work in progress. We look forward to dealing on issues like this on the arena from time to time, and we look forward to having you more and more, sir. Hoping that you keep obliging our calls, sir. We hope you oblige our call when we call on you next time.
By His grace.
By His grace. Okay, dear viewer, that's the much we take on the program today. Our political culture will not grow if we begin to show political apathy. So let's get more interested, and the system will work. Until come your way again, I remain Chris and Iboagu, thanking Dr. Aneke Nwanze for coming. Bye for now. This is Aneke TV. We move with the world. Welcome to Aneke TV, the heartbeat of culture, truth, and innovation. From breaking news to inspiring documentaries, from grassroots traditions, mysteries of life to global perspectives, we'll tell your stories. We amplify your voice and your vision. With every screen we light up, we connect, inform, and empower. It's more than a television. This is Aneke TV. We move with the world.
The management of Aneke Television has paid a courtesy visit to the Commandant, Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, Enugu State Command, Dr. Elijah Etim-Weli. The visit, which took place at the Commandant's office in Enugu, was aimed at fostering synergy and strengthening collaboration between the station and the command. Obinobu, head of administration of the station, while speaking during the meeting, commended the NSCDC dedication to safeguarding national assets and maintaining peace and security in the area. He said the visit aimed to reaffirm and strengthen the existing collaboration between the TV and the NSCDC, and also acknowledged the NSCDC's efforts at securing the state. Obu further stressed the importance of cordial relationship between the NSCDC and the station, saying such collaboration was necessary for the promotion of peace, transparency, and credible information dissemination.
As a nascent television station, we have come to an understanding that there's no way we could flow and operate and gain ground in the society without collaborating with the security agencies like yours. That's why we have deemed you to come around as a way to familiarize ourselves with you, especially data that has to do with your core mandate, areas of protection of national assets, and other areas of concern which the Constitution ascribes to you. So from time to time, as an agency, we would like to be having this first-class information so as to help us to take the public informed from time to time, so that they will not be ignorant of the happenings, especially your work and the operation of the agency in the state.
Responding, the Commandant, Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, Enugu State Command, Dr. Elijah Etim-Weli, appreciated the visit and expressed readiness to work with the station to achieve shared goals. He assured the station of his office's openness and commitment to a robust working relationship, saying the media remains a critical partner in maintaining public order and public enlightenment.
Thank you, your team, your crew, for that, that show of love. Concern. If you don't love an agency, you will not cover it. So I see your love for us, and I pray the collaborativeness to continue. And I want to also tell you that if you have challenge, anybody is challenging you, you need my security coverage, come and report, and the person will run away.
The NSCDC commandant also reaffirmed the Corps' commitment to safeguarding educational institutions such as primary, post-primary to tertiary institutions. The visit was capped with the group photographs. For Aneke TV, it's been Chinwendo Ifeonwankwo reporting.
Ibai. Ekelemu. Ojo kwani heja gondo. Ndo ana toka. Yana anawake nyano nawo. Ibai adino. Ugonogondo. Aruke. No doma. Adoma iweje nendo anya. Na ingori iweje nendo anya. Elufuta muria. Imana na seguru. Ya olisebu wa ene kenegi. Chukwu okike. Onye ogologo ndụ na ogologo anya na-agụ udo na ọchịchị anyị na-ekene na-ekene maka tata na-ayọ maka echi maka na ọsọ maka eme echi anya amara na ya dịka echi na echi anaghị agwụ agwụgwụ na ihe ya adịrị anyị mma ọ ya dịrị onye ọ na mma edikwezo ọgbaghị nọ ya abịa n'ọnọdụ na n'Igbo eke oyi nkwọ awụ na ọdọ mma ndị be anya onwekwara ihe ọzọ na anyị enye ndị ichie jipụtara anyị na-ere nke
na be anyị mechi na ọ bụ ọkụ na anọ anyị adawo aga ọjị a na-awa ha abịa ji na ọjị na-eke ịkya na a na-agụ ya a na-ejide ọjị na-eka nri ana m erachi ihe kere ihe na ihe wara ihe Chineke nna kere enu ke ana m akpọku ndị ezigbo mmadụ niile nọchawọrọ ndụ na-amechi ọkụ na anọ na anụ ọkụ na anọ na anụ Nkanụ na anụ Nta Egbe na-ese na anụ Enugu steeti na-asị biko na ọ bụ ha metere ihe ọma ka anyị na-asị ha gbadata ha bịa tara ọjị anyị na-asị eke ka eke ketere anyị ihe ọma anyị na-asị ahwọ ka ahwọ ghọtara anyị ihe ọma anyị na-asị nkwọ ka nkwọ kwọtara anyị ihe ọma anyị na-asị orie ka orie rutere anyị ihe ọma ihe ndị a niile ka anyị na-arịọ nna sị ka ị bịa mere anyị wetere anyị udo n'ala Igbo wetere anyị udo n'ala Naịjirịa wetere anyị ịhụnanya wetere anyị ọganihu wetere anyị ihe niile bụ ihe na-eme obodo adị mma nna biko ihe ndị a ka anyị na-arịọ kwetewo na imewere anyị karịa ka anyị rịọrọ n'ịhwa Chineke nna kere enu ka ana bụ Chukwu okike abịama
ndị be anyị ọjị abịa anyị na-ekene osebụlụwa ekene Chukwu okike nna ketara anyị oge kere igwe ka anyị na-ata ọjị anyị chọrọ iwe ọjị ị na-awa n'otu awa n'ibe asị ka ị goziela anyị taa ka ihe ọma hụkwa gwute anyị na-akpọke ndị nna nna anyị ha bụ abụ ndị mere ọhụma goziela ya eke gozie Orie gozie Nkwọ mee ka ndị ọbụla na-agagharị na-achọghị ha ga-eri mee ọhụma na ndị sokwa ụzọ ọtọ ndị kwụkwara ụzọ na-eje n'ụzọ kwụrụ ọtọ soro ka iwu Chukwu ji wee dị Chukwu na anyị si ka anyị wụọ gị a tata nde udo na ọgụ na aga m n'ihu ka ọ dịrị anyị mma ndewo anyị na-ewepụta ile ọjị na-egosi ụmụnna anyị okenye na-awa ọjị ndị ọzọ na-awa ọjị na-ele enye ile ọjị nsọfụrụ maka na ebe a ọ na ile ọjị a ka eji ama eziokwu iweta ọjị
onye ọzọ na-asa ile ọ ga-eji na-ekwu eziokwu. Onye sara ile weta ile ọjị were na-ekpe ekpere were na-aga ọhụụ ọ ga-ekwuneta eziokwu. Ọjị a anyị na-enye nsọfụrụ, ọjị lụọ ịnọ otu a ata ya, o ruo ise atakwa ya, mana o bido ruo na asaa ịma na ị ga-egbu anụ, ị ga-egbu ọkụkọ.
Welcome to Aneke TV, the heartbeat of culture, truth, and innovation. From breaking news to inspiring documentaries, from grassroots traditions, mysteries of life to global perspectives, we'll tell your stories. We amplify your voice and your vision. With every screen we light up, we connect, inform, and empower. It's more than a television. This is Aneke TV. We move with the world.
There are questions the world are yet to answer. Truths buried in time, echoed in tradition, and hidden in the stars. From the rituals of the ancients to the secrets of the atom. From the patterns in nature to the power of thought. Mysteries of Life takes you on a journey through the unknown, exploring the mystical, the philosophical, the traditional, and the scientific. What connects them all? What lies beneath the surface of what we know? Join us on Aneke TV as we uncover the secret layers and unlock the unseen. This is Mysteries of Life, where every truth begins with a question.
Good day, viewer. Welcome to our Aneke TV program, Mysteries of Life. Today in our studio, we have two important persons to help us to look at a particular issue that is becoming a cause of concern among our people, called paganism. But they call it neo-paganism, according to the Bishop of Enugu Diocese, His Lordship CBC Onaga. Now, having said that, we have two eminent persons to discuss this matter. First, by my immediate left, we have our brother in his red cap, Mazi Aneke Anichukwu, a peace and conflict consultant. Anichukwu, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
And then next to him, by his own left, we have our brother who is the children's pastor of the Assemblies of God Church, Owani Enugu, Reverend Uche Kalu. Reverend, welcome to the program.
The pleasure is mine, sir.
You know, it's this issue of paganism, particularly neo-paganism. I want to start with you, the pastor. What is neo-paganism? So that, what is paganism first, before we go to the nuances, which we now call neo-paganism? Paganism, what is paganism?
Okay. Paganism, in my definition, is an act of worshipping the God that is not supreme,
Okay.
the God that we attach to our tradition,
Okay.
which we now call traditional religion.
Okay.
So once one oblige himself not to worship the supreme God, you are practicing paganism.
Okay. Once you are not, Anichukwu, he says, once you are not obliging yourself to worshiping the one supreme God, that you are getting yourself
Sure.
involved in what is paganism.
Yeah.
What do you think about what he said?
Paganism, from his own, he's free to urge his own view
Okay.
based on his
Perspective.
professional or religious point of view,
Okay.
because he's a pastor.
Okay.
And once he says anything against Christianity, is a heresy.
Okay.
Yes, okay. Heresy. So he needs to protect his own side.
Okay.
And he cannot be objective on such issues.
Wow.
Yeah, that's true. So, but in true view of what paganism is all about, paganism is just, first of all, is all about a delegatory reference established by the main religions, the so-called main religions of the world: Christianity, Islam, Judaism, whereby they delegatorily label other religions as worshippers of evil God. Then why they are worshiping the righteous God. Okay. But in life there is either evil or good, okay. Heaven or hell. Okay. And in that balance, before the gospel was brought to Africa, even Igbo land, in Igbo cosmology, we have God, and there's only one supreme God. They are not two. They are not two. So somebody saying that those who worship any other God, not under Christianity, even Africa, Igbo cosmology, we believe in is a monotheistic religion, because only one supreme God. Other ones are lesser deities, ancestors that are all intermediary, lesser deities. Then, so what I'm establishing is that the delegatory labeled Africans. Reverend Father Raymond Arazu, very Reverend Father Dr. Raymond Arazu, a scholar, a lecturer, is a great man in the Catholic papacy. He said that Africans, we are not worshipping, our ancestors never, there were no pagans. They are approaching God from African perspective. They are not pagans. So, on that premise, I say, I counter his analogy and conclusion, saying that those who don't worship only under Christianity are pagans. They are not pagans. In fact, let me tell you the truth. The truth is that our ancestors worshipped one and only true God more righteously than we do today under Christianity and Islam.
Yeah. Why do you say so?
Why I say so is that they are always conscious of what that what is in the Torah is innate in our minds as Africans and Igbos. Or if you go to Nri, the 10 Nri, there are 10 sins that are Lord in Nri. You are a researcher, a professor, go to Nri. If any person who is cleansing of evil is 10, then that 10 is in tandem with the 10 commandments as given to Moses. But I don't want to go so deep.
Okay.
All I'm saying that our ancestors, the priests, not everybody that died is an ancestor. Our ancestors, they worship one and only true God, and there's no two true God, only one God.
Yeah, but let me get back to Reverend Uche, because this is your own premise.
Yes.
Which you have tried to establish. But Reverend Uche has already put forward one dimension to it, which is about that if you are following the African traditional religion, which is what we are saying, that you are a pagan, kind of. And I think there are other dimensions to paganism, as far as Uche is concerned.
Yeah, in discussant, I think we need to create a balance.
Okay.
We don't need to engage our viewers as if they have only one person they listen to.
Okay.
And there should be time balance in our approach.
No problem.
Okay.
Good remark.
And we shouldn't even not necessarily be attacking, but projective, bring out the point from your angle of view. To me, like I said, I didn't mention Christianity in my definition. I said once you don't worship the supreme God is attached, you are into traditional religion, which is purely paganism. Traditional religion is different from culture. culture is a way of life. Traditional religion is a situation where you come to observe certain spirit and libations, and you do certain sacrifices which goes against the worship of the real righteous and holy God. And so when we talk about paganism, we are standing point clear that it is not the worship of a supreme God. Our ancestors may have worshipped in the ideation that they are worshiping a supreme God when Christianity has not come to play. And we will not take that to judge them. When Christianity came to play, the Word of God declared it openly that God is the creator of heaven and earth, in tandem to the opinion that God is the supreme God that our ancestors do worship. But when Jesus came into the scene, he became the way, the truth, and the life. And he taught us so many things about life itself, which goes different from that tradition that African people used to attach to pagan worship. So paganism entirely is not a worship of the supreme God. It's an idolatry.
Okay, paganism.
Yes.
It's idolatry.
It's idolatry. It's idolatry. Because when you now come up to sacrifice to a God and outside the worship of the true God, you are engaging yourself into idolatrous worship. Sure.
Yeah, this is because that's one dimension to it.
Yes.
When I checked my dictionary, not necessarily online, I saw that paganism, apart from what you have just defined, both of you, but you have just added another dimension.
Yes, sir.
Because idolatry is even if you begin to even idolize yourself,
Good. Yes.
you become an idol.
Exactly.
Yeah. So idolatry is not just about worshiping one god or deity or another small god or deity. Because I looked at it and I found out that what they said there is that a pagan, that's where he was coming from. That a pagan is someone, and he used the word correctly, derogatorily referred to by the Jews for Judaism, by the Christians and Muslims. If you are not among the three, then they will refer to you as a pagan. But then the dictionary went on, the Shepherd Dictionary went on to even define anybody that is involved in pleasure pursuit, which is hedonism. Are you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
I'm coming. Okay. As also
engaging in paganism.
A pagan, because the person is now godless. Like for you, because you are coming from the idea of Christianity.
Yes.
And in the Bible, the man that got so much harvest and said to himself, "My soul, now you have everything that you need."
Okay.
Or the man that forgot the diverse that forgot about the poor man Lazarus, how he also ended. So, but there's a way you just said that paganism is idolatry. I don't know. I'm just putting it so that we get our premises clear.
I think before you engage him back,
yes,
etymologically, we had to just accept before we now diverse the context of the study.
Yes.
That once you are not worshipping the true supreme God, where there is no division of entity, you are a pagan. So you can now from there now start going into
No, that's your view now. That is your own view.
That's the view.
No, that's your own view.
That's a view.
No, that's your view. That's not.
It may not be my own alone. It's a view.
No, that is okay. That is a view. You can call it. That is a view.
Good.
That is not his own view.
Okay, yeah, of course.
So, and the viewer is expected to learn from us because we're going into what's happening now. What's happening now is that a lot of young men now come back, go to the community, and then put cloth around trees. That's what we call new paganism. That's why I talked about the disturbance to our bishop, Bishop Kaliso Naga. That now we have this new paganism, and people are doing a lot of strange things. And that's why I brought up the other definition of the dictionary. bringing this pleasure principle, because if you ask those people the in-depth knowledge of what they are trying to institute or what they are trying to do, they may not be able to explain it. Apart from the fact that maybe they are beginning to get wealth, and so on and so on. So that's part of why I said let us bring it in, so that from there we will not enter into what now covers the ordinary persons. Because I'm so happy that you are involved in children's ministry. So,
but there is a crucial point he raised.
Yes.
That those who don't worship one true God are pagans.
Supreme God.
Supreme God,
Yes.
are pagans. Even if you want to handle him from that, handle his submission from that point of view.
No, you're handling it for the viewer, not him.
Okay. Now, the African traditional religion.
Yes.
Worship only one true Supreme God.
You know, we have a problem now. The problem we have is that he's looking at it from pantheism and monotheism.
And
that's the angle it's coming from.
But
you know that
smaller...
the Christian religion, Judaism,
yes,
Mohammedan religion,
Islam,
you know, they're about monotheism.
Yeah.
The African traditional religion is more or less about pantheism. That's why the Igbo man, in the Igbo cosmology, an Igbo man creates his own God. I know that he believes in Chukwukabiama, but most of the time we create our God in Igbo land. We create our God, and if that God doesn't work, we use it and cook food and make a new God. So that's the angle it's coming from.
Okay. No, if I made it might sound so critical, but that is the truth.
Okay.
If I say that if it comes to idolatry, which he raised,
that's what he said.
Idolatry. That even Christians, they're like Christian idolaters.
Yeah.
For instance, in the Holy Catholic Church,
okay,
the Blessed Chapel, Sacrament,
okay,
the crucifix,
okay,
the scapula,
okay,
the chaplet. Okay, for instance, the Blessed Sacrament, or the Madonna, Madonna Shrine.
Okay.
They call it Madonna Shrine.
Okay.
Madonna Shrine is where where gods or other divine beings inhabit.
The shrine, yes?
Yes, they inhabit. And I told people that if you go to Madonna Shrine and place your petition, it works.
I'm listening.
It works. So, if true traditionalists, they don't bow down to any image. They never. A true traditionalist in Igbo, I know, will come out in the morning. They issue decrees with faith. They never bow down to any image. They sit down, bring cola, bring the sacramentals, and they issue decrees. And I know more not is Igbo in an getting a Chineke ozi. Never actual. Yadi otua. Let it be with faith, and it works for them. So I won't like, if you want to do it in idolatry, I will tell you that Christians even practice that idolatry more than these people who are saying that they are practicing traditionalism. Yes, you are a prof. In research, you don't bend to your church or religion. You come with objectivity, the plain truth, the fact.
You are not being objective then. So because bowing down to an image or bowing down to a God does not necessarily when you come and kneel down. When you make your submission, when you have your opinion, the Bible says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks.
Yes.
So whatever is a representative of what you have in mind. And you cannot talk to whom you do not respect. Okay. So when someone talks to and this and that, in the heart, he has already submitted to that God. And there is no other way than it is.
So all I'm concluding...
Then when you are now saying that Christians, I don't want to be emphatical about it. I'm not a Catholic, but to be honest with you, different churches have their doctrine and dogma.
Okay.
And the way they relate to their own God. Do you understand? And I cannot conclusively say that everybody is fooling around. Yes, because they still get their solutions and answers.
Good.
Then the question you ask, from which source is it operating from? Now, I am a Pentecostal, okay? Even at that, the cloth we put on, there is a level we reference it, it becomes an idol. So all we are trying to say, Going back to our context discussion, paganism in the ancient time, you cannot in any way rule out idolatry. And you see, they are not sanctity. They are not sanctity as an entity. What do I mean? They are not holy as an entity. Ancient time, remember, they killed twins. How can one claim to be sanctity? How can one claim to be best approach to a supreme God and then you engage in murdering, killing souls? Today, we have what plate? We have people having 7 children and all this at once. And they emerge great people in life. Those that you have killed as a result of whatever you call it.
That's the belief system.
Yes, fetish. Those African traditional religion then was fetish. And for us to engage back to it, we are engaging into fetish and paganism, and it is still the same idolatry. Where has it taken us to? And where do you think it will take us to? Christianity still remains the light.
No. I don't want to go into. There's a point he's making.
No.
The point he's making. Wait. The point he's making is about idolatry. But I don't. This work is not about idolatry.
Exactly. Paganism.
Our discussion is not about idolatry. Our discussion is about paganism. Particularly because the young ones now are going back into what we now call neo-paganism. And we want to address this issue because it's not like that's. It's not a religion. It's a religion. It's not like. That they are pagans. No. It's not about whether they are pagans or not. It's about what Revolution has brought up now. What it has brought up is this. This practice that our people are now going back to. How far does it liberate people?
Humanity, yes.
Even though I may not go along the people who think that Africans, who think that Africans were backward. Because if you go back to your New Testament, you will see that the Ethiopian eunuch came to Jerusalem as part of the worship of one God under Judaism before the time of the Pentecost and before he met Philip and so on and so on and so on. They were all in Africa. So Africans did not wait for this. Yeah, there were bad times, like you mentioned, when people took to killing twins, and all those.
Even Christians committed their own atrocities and evils. It's truth.
We're not talking of the days of this. We're not talking of the days of darkness. We are talking of how do we bring our people out of the wrong practice. I think we take our time, we come back and then find out what to do. What are we going to do? Because the public needs to know what to do so that the young ones do not get consumed in what they do not understand.
There are questions the world are yet to answer. Truths buried in time, echoed in tradition, and hidden in the stars. From the rituals of the ancients to the secrets of the atom. From the patterns in nature to the power of thought. Mysteries of life takes you on a journey through the unknown, exploring the mystical, the philosophical, the traditional, and the scientific. What connects them all? What lies beneath the surface of what we know? Join us on Aneke TV as we uncover the secret layers and unlock the unseen. This is Mysteries of Life, where every truth begins with a question.
Yeah, welcome back, viewer. We thank our brothers, Reverend Uche and Maase Anichukwu. We have been looking at this issue of paganism because we want to get to a current situation. A few weeks ago, the government of Anambra State, got into a big drama with the Ezedibias and the Ezemoke and the Ezemwai. And then even in Enugu State, the story, I wasn't there, but I heard about the story of how the governor, our own barrister, Peter Ndubisimba, invited all the Ezedibias and then asked them a question, whether any of them could tell him why he invited them. And because nobody did that, then he asked them to pay for whatever they... I wasn't there, so... But I'm trying to say, part of what we had, And we want to use it to now come back to both of you. I want to start with you, because this issue of, everybody's now coming up with this, neo-paganism. Everybody's trying to now go back to, everybody's talking of, is it what they call cultural nationalism, and so on and so on. I don't know whether it's a spiritual thing, I don't know what is going on, but this issue of Eze Dibia and Eze Wine, Eze Wine and Eze Nwoke, because that's what is, this, I don't know, is it what we call paganism? Is that what you see as paganism? If that's anything like that. Because you already defined that adherents of African religion,
true worshippers of Almighty God. True worshippers.
So this young boy, what are you calling them?
The truth is that bad governance in Africa has truncated a lot of things. Okay. Frustrations everywhere. In Igbo cosmology, whatever you achieve does not give you, you cannot get it. And whenever you get it, through Ogo, you will pay dearly for it. Because Ogo, most of these are practicing dangerous ritualism, dangerous occultism, contrary to the wishes, the prayers or the wishes of the holy deities and ancestors of Africa. There is economic quagmire everywhere. And the worst in it all, the Christian podium declare that once you accept Jesus Christ as personal Lord and Savior, everything becomes well for you. But that's lies, falsehood. It's when you accept Jesus Christ that persecution starts. Because Christ lives and teaches golden rule. Do unto others as wish others do unto you. And once you accept Jesus Christ, you stand against falsehood, lies, cheating, profiteering, all these things that make people to become overnight billionaires. You go against it. In your community, you speak the truth. So, then, they portray the gospel in a way that once you accept Jesus Christ, things start moving well for you as a graduate. You get job, you marry a billionaire, and so on. So, when all these promises were not fulfilled, all the promises given to them on the pulpits of the Christianity were not fulfilled, they turned now to seek it from elsewhere that is not even from the pure African cultural perspective. That's why you see all this proliferation of shrines everywhere. They import foreign occultism. They say no true African deity or holy ancestor will ask you to bring in the head of your mother or breast or private parts.
I want to take it from there because
Yes.
I want to go back to the pastor, Reverend Uche. You see, you hear what he's saying. What explains what is going on now? What the young ones are doing? How would you explain it? Because he has put his own that it's economic quagmire that is causing it, and then blaming also Christians.
Pulpits, promising them heaven.
I'm saying what you said, blaming Christians for what is going on.
You see, when one gives his life or her life to Jesus Christ, the message is not that everything will be all right. Whoever preaches that way probably seemingly is still growing in the Lord.
That's what they call prosperity Christianity.
And such person may not have attained a level of maturity in the Christian faith. And if somebody goes by that, the judgment will be that it is being preached. In Christian faith, you grow according to the experience as you walk with God. Do you understand? God does not promise us a risk-free life or risk-free journey. He promises us safe landing and his guide. His word is the guide. He says, forever, O Lord, your word is settled in heaven. He says, this word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Meaning, step by step, the word of God guides you. And in long range, the word of God grants you counsel. So when you don't have that word of God, you may deviate into believing everything will be all right as soon as you enter into the law. It's not an occultic society, right? Then when we come to why people engage into it, from beginning, sorcery,
Absolutely.
witches and wizard has already been there. The witch and the wizard are the Ezewoke and the Ezewine. The issue is that end time prophecy, iniquity will abound. The increasing evil in the land on earth multiplies every vices. And you cannot imagine there are unthinkable things that, will not be done, and it is being done. All in the quest of what? Getting wealth. Okay? And in accordance to the word of God, that the end, perilous time will come. When people will begin to sell their parents and all those, sell their children in the quest to make money. Okay? Now, we are just as a person. It may be subjective, it may be objective. If you are practicing African religion and the enclave of the supreme God, the fear of the Lord, that is the beginning of all wisdom. Wisdom is life, it's not in you. You will deviate into idolatry. That is why it is pure paganism to do all those libation, and there is no way you can modernize it. There is no way you can refurbish it and say, I also carry my Bible, I go to church and this and that. You must stand for God and be for God. You cannot just be doing all these things, carry cola and be doing and this, go to a place. There is a place I pastored.
So what is the problem with breaking cola?
No, I said these are normal. That one is Igbo culture.
Yes.
You use cola as a
fruit. You mentioned libation and you mentioned cola.
Yes.
So I got interested in that.
Don't be a kind of surprise that there are different colas that people use in African religion.
No, there's nothing you said. You mentioned sorcery.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
understand that. You mentioned occultism.
Yes.
I understand that.
Yes.
But now when you now went into this cola, because it's like
when you start a conversation in Igbo land, you use cola to open the discussion.
Yes.
Then when you enter into African religion, that libation of a thing, people go for cola that has 4 parts. You forget 5. Only for Nkwo Eke.
Yes.
People will look for a cola that have 7 parts. People look for cola that does not have part at all. They are sealed. So this is what we talk about traditional religion. They use it for different kinds of libation. And in that case, you are not ascribing whatever result you derive to the Almighty Supreme.
The problem I have with that, I understand the explanation.
Okay.
But I have a problem with it because if the viewer hears that, and I like the way you move, you moved into what you call sorcery. You talked about sorcery.
I do.
If people do sorcery, that is against a number of things because you are now throwing up energies that might end up creating confusion. They are in a town. There's a town.
That is there's a why and there's a working practices.
There's a town. Nature abhors vacuum.
Okay.
In a town very close to this place, a man lost his employee. He didn't get a job, so he got 3 stones, and said, "If you do things for me, I will always make sure that you are happy." And things are going well for him.
Okay.
Then one time after some time, the oracle demanded, he was giving ram and fowls and all those things, and it was working. Then from fowl to goat to ram, then one day the oracle demanded human sacrifice. I'm coming because the man that told me that may he rest in peace, VC KGP, he told us that story. So, but the community had to come together because it was in his own town. I just mentioned, I don't want to call the town, but I've called the name of the man who told me this story, 1990. So, the whole town came together and destroyed the shrine.
Good.
We have a shrine, we have oracle. And these are energies. I understand some of those things. But the issue is this. Now that we are looking at this paganism, particularly neo-paganism, and the young men are doing this. And because when you talk of, we know we have cola, we have good usage of cola, just like good use of palm wine. We have the other side, the evil usage of all those things.
Yes.
Like this, our biro could be used to write and give life. You can also use it to kill somebody.
Exactly.
To stab somebody.
Exactly.
And kill a person.
Exactly.
Or to blind somebody.
Or to write derogatory this.
Yes.
And so on and so
Yes,
on.
yes.
So it depends on the usage. But we are now looking at Africa, and we are now looking at our own people. We are looking at what the young men are doing now.
Yes.
And we are trying to see why did they do this. He has tried to explain part of it. You have also tried to explain part of it by looking at the negative energies that people may throw up. But how do we save our people? Because the government of Anambra State, they have come with their own view. But then I started hearing a part, I don't know whether it is true, I don't know whether it's not true, that they said that they are not against all the DBS. So I heard that kind of stuff. I don't know whether it is true. I don't know if it's not true. Let it follow those who said it. Then in Enugu State also, we also have our own, because I think the governor said, if it's business, come and join and pay by business premises. That's what I had. I don't know.
Registration, regulating spiritual practices.
To regulate them. It's important. So, having said that, what do you do with our young ones who are not getting into this? How do we help them? But I'm happy that you're in the children's ministry. Good. But maybe we'll start with you first. What do we do? How do we get the young men to watch it? Because I got confused about that's why I asked about the kola nut issue, because for the people, the kola nut is part of our own practice.
It's a very clean culture. Very clean culture. Very clean Holy Ghost.
Of course, you know, I wasn't condemning
yes,
the use of kola nut, yes. Okay? But I am just trying to emphasize the negative attachment to it.
Usage
do you understand?
Of kola nut.
Yes. So that is just my point.
Fine.
I'm not condemning the use of kola nut.
Libation is not an Igbo word. Libation is not an African word. Libation is an English word. And those who watched the burial of Queen Elizabeth II must have seen a lot of things.
Okay.
Those who watched the burial of Queen Elizabeth must have seen so many things. Because culture is culture. And the spiritual, you know, there's spirituality and spiritism.
Exactly.
I don't know what that one, how we are going to put it.
Spiritism is your negative side.
Spirituality and spiritism. And I like what you use, sorcery and witchcraft. And all those energies that people cast around. But for the young ones, do you think that they know what they are trying to do?
Well, actually, that's why I said that the government should look around for people like you, based on your learning, who have established a board that will reorientation of values. We need to give them reorientation, the young ones. Rushing to the deities and ancestors to give you money or wealth. No clean deity or ancestor will give you quick wealth. Because you don't have what it means. The ancestors and deities bless you according to the time of your life. Even in the Bible, it said, I will answer Sarah. Abraham, I will answer you for childbirth. At the time, it will come at the time of your life. Whatever does not come at that time of your life as a sign divine ordained, will bring curse unto you. So these people, young ones who are drifting into this new paganism, they don't know what they're doing. Because go and learn work. Have sound education. Learn work. Diligence. Be dutiful. Pay attention to what you are doing. Have time. Patience. Perseverance. Then, there is difference between charm and some clean or decent ritualism.
Practice.
Yes.
Practice.
Charm is commanding nature, going against the will of God. Because if you call Satan devil, he'll answer you.
That's what they call enchantment.
So now these young men are bringing foreign occultic powers. I call it evil occult collegiate. They are bringing into this place to manipulate nature against the will of their chi. In the work of Jew, that's what we call chi, or guardian angel in the Christian faith, Catholic Church. So whatever you get in life, the young ones, you are hearing me. Whatever you get in life that your chi does not give you will bring a curse on you. Okay. It doesn't work.
So, are you hearing him? So, what do you have to add to that?
I think the Bible made us to understand if we train up a child in the way he should go, when that child grows up, he will not depart from it.
Yes.
We neglect the important, the value of starting early. And we want to start when...
Yeah, but we go to nursery school, we go to pre-nursery school,
yeah,
we go to primary
that is what
school,
I'm emphasizing.
We go to secondary
that is
school,
what I'm saying.
We go to university.
Going to nursery is not what is more important. It is the value you attach in that nursery.
Okay.
When a child is left to grow the way he wants to grow, when a child is left to grow without monitoring, without checking, the parent give the child free hand to do everything, there's a time that child will grow to, it will be difficult, extremely difficult, to bring that child back to table.
So are you going back to what you said about the economy?
Well, economy...
Because now, you know, we were lucky. I don't know about you. You know, I was born in the 60s. Yeah?
Yes, sir.
I don't know about you. I don't want to go into that. But what I'm trying to say is that we had mothers who were housewives.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
Today we don't have housewives any longer.
Okay.
So how do you handle it?
Yes. The best is the fear of God. If we are able to inculcate the fear of God into
How do you
a child...
inculcate it in the child without having the mother on the ground?
Of course, the child also grow by what he sees. If he sees the life of the parent as sound, worthy to emulate, that child will learn to live on that morale. But if the parents the type that will say another thing and will do another thing, it's a different message altogether.
The child is finished.
Yes, it's true. So the economy also now, some parents are eager. Let my child succeed. Let my child make it. The parent is not interested in what the child does, whether the child is going to come back demanding his head or her head.
Exactly.
Let him be like your contemporary. And when once that competitiveness is there on the market, every child goes to the field.
You know, maybe I'll come back to you like this. You know, one man died in my community, and I was trying to find out why the man died. And they said that the son came and did one of those practices.
Okay.
And the man was there.
Okay.
And the man wasn't supposed to allow it to happen.
Okay.
So when the child finished that, the man died.
Okay. Not knowing that the practice was in his advantage and
because he was happy. No, he was, you know, like, you know, what I did my service in the West, 1985. So I used to hear, is it all today? Yeah? It has come, he has arrived.
Okay.
When we say he has arrived, you know, he really come back. But when we after the war, immediately after the war, people are not saying that he has arrived. If you come back with 10 kobo, your parents must ask you first,
good.
Where do you get this from? Those questions, I don't know what happened. I know what happened to them as a pastor. What happened to those questions?
I really want to suggest that the government, though they will not do everything for the masses, it is important that the government do a leverage on the weight on parents.
Okay.
It is important that every good governance will look at health care, academics, education, road, water, electricity. These are not political issues.
Good.
They are social amenities. When you praise people that they did it, I try to laugh. What else would they have done if not that? So when it is placed on board, it will lessen the burden of parents. They will not push their children beyond limits, and their children will be able to discover their potential, their God-given calling into what and the society will be okay.
You know, there's something that you just said, you know, because this vulnerability is important. Vulnerability is crucial here.
Yes.
You made a point. You know, when we were growing, I went to St. Bridget here, Asata. Even though I started from my village after the war. I was born in the north. Then I came to my village at Mbo. Then I did my elementary 1 there. Then I did elementary 2 at Abwani, St. John Abwani. Then I did my elementary 3 and the rest at St. Bridget. And then went to CIC. Now, we were lucky because our parents followed us. And they tried to do some of those things that you just mentioned. And tried to make sure that they impacted some of those values upon us. You know, we were lucky to have our mothers on the ground. You know, but now the mother is in the office and the child is left to who?
To the care of anyone.
Not to the care of anyone. And then you're bringing somebody that doesn't even understand. And then there's a point you made again about little children. You know, we were meant to be in debate society. We had the local governments organized inter-house, organized inter-sports. We grew from this to greater tomorrow to this to that to that to that. And the children were kept very, very busy.
Yes.
Today, the private schools, you have a private school, there's international school without even a playing field. There is no field.
Well, you are right. That is a secondary matter.
No, it's part of it now. We
It's
are
a
trying to
secondary
break it
matter.
down.
The primary matter for me is the value.
No, I'm
The
talking
value.
of no.
Do you know, sir?
You create a condition for the value.
Yes. Do you know, sir?
Yes.
People today only dwell on self-centeredness. Before, if you see somebody's child going astray, you will call that
No,
child back.
if you call the
But
child
today,
back now, if you call the child back now, the mother will ask you,
Fight
have
you.
you finished training
She
your
will
own?
fight you.
today everybody focuses on his own
Do you know
child.
that people
And-
call police for teachers?
Yeah, of course. What I'm trying to drive at is that people, parents, do not want the best to come out from their children. Rather, they want to buy the best for their children.
Okay, now because we are going to close with this comment. You know how people used to have Mora as
Yes,
a name.
Before now.
Makanangwa bụ Mora.
Today is now Ikenna.
Thank you. That is the problem. Nwa bụ Mora. Eh?
Yeah.
Peter Mba. All the community were.
Yeah.
Eh? The community were Peter.
Yes.
No, but he is now Ikenna. If he becomes Ikenna, it is just to the stomach, to the afon here. And that is what we want to look at. We want to look at everything holistically. We want to look at the structures of the community to get these children properly nurtured. Because now that Donald Trump called African leaders, and they were all standing up around him, and he was the only one sitting down, and it didn't look embarrassing to them. We were lucky that our president didn't equally go. So now, I mean, we have to be looking at all these things because, like he mentioned, have we looked at the material conditions? Like you mentioned, this health and all those things.
Yes.
These are hidden costs.
Yes.
The hidden cost of maintenance of a child.
Yes.
Nobody's taking care of them.
Nobody.
Do you know enough when the child goes through malaria, only malaria? Do you know how much money that the parents will get for only malaria?
Oh, God.
Do you know that the child is supposed to take egg every day? Every child is supposed to is entitled to an egg every day. Everybody, not just the children, but at least it's a must for a child to have an egg. Do you know the cost of?
Has he been guaranteed 2 square meal?
No, these are the issues which we are going to be looking at. So, viewer, even if we continue discussing this next time, it will still be there. We want to get our people to understand that neo-paganism may look interesting for those who are involved, but people are now bringing, what happened to Sodom and Gomorrah. What did they call it? He said that he sent sulfur and fire, brimstone upon them. We do not want that to happen to our people. We want our people to live good lives. We must worship our God in whichever way we think best. But we are Christians. Everybody, both myself and my brother Uche, we are Christians.
Everybody will not be a Christian.
My brother
and Christianity is not the only way to God.
My brother Aneke is also a worshipper of the one true God.
Aneke is also a Christian.
I'm a practical Christian, not a theoretical Christian. Practical Christian.
So, want to thank God for you, brother Uche. Want to thank God for our brother Aneke. We hope that God will protect us. So by the next time we come, we pick up another topic that's going to help our people because we want our people to equally be part of the globalizing world, but not to be used as the periphery of that globalizing world. I think with that I can say thank you and hoping the best for until we meet next time.
A non-governmental organization, Aneke Pascal Onyekake Foundation, has distributed free exercise books to pupils in Community Primary School 1 and 2 in Ozam, Amechi Dodo, Nkanu East Local Government Area of Enugu State, with an encouragement to the children to take their studies seriously. The serene atmosphere of the school was agog as the team arrived the arena with over 300 children benefiting from the free exercise books. Speaking during the event, the program officer of the foundation, Obinna Obu, said the idea of sharing the books was to empower the children educationally. According to him, the foundation has put in place all the necessary measures to support the development of education in the area. He said the foundation had visited and donated books to some other schools in Enugu South, Nkanu East, and Nkanu West local government areas.
We are here, which is part of our ongoing project, which cut across distribution of educational materials to pupils of rural schools located in rural communities.
So we've covered other local governments. So this another local government, another school under Nkanu East, which we've covered today. And I think our come here was successful, though the rain tried to disrupt, but to God be the glory, the aim of coming here was achieved at the end of the day.
As they are shared to.
Sure, it will be useful to them, and it's obvious on the way they collected it and their countenance and their expression of joy and the collection. We believe that by giving them these books, it will help them to do their homework, assignment, and classwork, and then take their learning serious. Thank you.
3 pupils, Sarah Obase, Chimeremeze Goodness, and Ernest Igwe, expressed joy that their school was remembered and thanked the foundation for the gesture, pledging to take their studies seriously.
I am happy, and we are happy as people give us the exercise book of Aneke. Thank you for giving us. We are happy.
I want to say you people thank you for coming and sharing the book for us.
I want to say to you people thank you for coming and sharing book for us.
Speaking, the 2 headmistresses of the Community Primary School 1 and 2, Ozam Amechi Dodo, Mrs. Regina Ngozi, and Magdalene Ume, thanked the foundation for their humanitarian efforts by providing free books to the children, saying that the books will motivate the pupils.
All I have to say is thank you, Lord. Una try. We really appreciate your coming. We are happy. It's real good. We are happy for the foundation have shared up to let's say 500 size books to the children. And children also, we are happy that they receive this gift from you people. We appreciate you and your foundation, and we pray that God will continue to guide you.
Even my pupils are excited. I appreciate you people for coming, at least to show us that this type of thing is in existence. Because if people are not here, we will not have known that you are in existence, that this such a thing is even in existence. So we appreciate it.
Mr. Levinus Ibuaba, an indigene of Amechi Dodo, thanked the foundation for sharing free books to the children and also encouraged them to do more. He also encouraged the pupils to take their studies seriously, that with the books shared to them, it will be very helpful to their studies.
I'm very excited. When I heard that your people are coming, I was overwhelmed, because I know that coming here will cushion the effects of the cost of education in the life of the parents of the pupils. An adage in our locality that says no no, just meaning that whomever eats his yam, that one is the highest farmer. So Aneke has remembered us. Aneke is the greatest. I'm happy with them, and I pray that God will strengthen them the more.
The school environment was filled with happiness as the book distribution continues. For Aneke TV, it's been Chinwendo Ifeonwankwo reporting.
Welcome to Aneke TV, the heartbeat of culture, truth, and innovation. From breaking news to inspiring documentaries, from grassroots traditions, mysteries of life to global perspectives, we'll tell your stories. We amplify your voice and your vision. With every screen we light up, we connect, inform, and empower. It's more than a television. This is Aneke TV. We move with the world.